We are now in front of Istanbul. This is the medieval castle. Let's go take a look. This is the center of the medieval fortress. Take a look at these destroyed buildings. But the stables over there were a key part of the knight's castle.
A rich imagination is needed to visualize the grandiose Teutonic castle that once stood here. All that is left of Insterburg Castle nowadays is ruins.
Let's look back on the 14th century, when this building was inhabited mainly by knights of the Teutonic order. Upon joining, they took 3 vows: chastity, poverty and obedience.
In the Middle Ages, East Prussia was an outpost of the Knights of the Teutonic Order. They launched military campaigns from here and defended against pagan raids. There are more than 30 castles in the Kaliningrad region, similar to Insterburg.
The castles should be renovated, no doubt about it. I mean, our Polish neighbors, for example, make good money from attracting great many tourists. Some of that money is, of course, earmarked for the restoration of these castles.
One group of local history enthusiasts believe that even age-old ruins, such as Insterburg Castle, can still provide an excellent backdrop for projects relating to tourism and theatre. Festivals of medieval culture and nightly tournaments have been staged here for over 10 years.
The German legacy is very much alive in this very special region. It needs to be preserved and developed, especially considering that the history of knighthood is very popular with tourists.
The amber of the Kaliningrad region is famous. Even pagan Russians mined the so-called sunshine stone on the Baltic coast. This fossilized tree resin, over 50 million years old, has always been very highly valued. A layer of amber lies close to the surface in the Kaliningrad region. Mining it is easy and very profitable.
The Great Amber Road began here. This is the world's only amber mine. From here, amber spreads across the world. Some say it comes from Poland and Lithuania, but that's wrong. It's mined in this pit at a depth of 50 meters.
In the Kaliningrad region, amber is used to decorate everything from souvenirs and jewelry to furniture. Several kilograms of sunshine stone went into making this ornamental table.
Sunshine stone is very rich in color. Even though it's quite brittle, it can be a source of great inspiration for artists.
The process of creating amber patterns at this factory is environmentally friendly. Designers make drawings of blueprints on sand supplied from the Baltic coast.
The ornament is then transferred through a technologically secret language onto a special carrier of wood.
The ecologist Felix Alexeyev has studied the dunes of the Curonian Spit for 40 years. He is one of the few scientists who have a pessimistic outlook on the future of this unique place.
I do fear the spit might turn into a chain of islands even in our lifetime. The shore is being eroded at a very fast pace.
In the ecologist's opinion, people should not have tampered with the spit by halting the migration of dunes. The peninsula began collapsing when the natural order of things was upset.
I can draw a picture on the sand. Waves carried away a huge amount of sand. The spit became wider and higher. And then people created a proto-dune that provided the sand to the spit. So this is how it became flat. A big storm can blow away a meter and a half, or even 5 meters of shoreline. The sand of the dunes is swept away into the lagoon. In short, we are losing the spit.
White sand still remains in only a few areas. Trees were first planted in the sandy spit in the 19th century. Today they cover most of the peninsula.
The Dancing Forest is one of the more recent tourist destinations. These trees were planted in the mid-1960s, but nobody still knows why trees in one part of the forest behave in such a strange way.
These trees were planted to halt the advance of sand, but pines planted in an area of several hectares started exhibiting odd deformities. Before long, the grove had become one of the most attractive sites in the Curonian Spit.
There are several theories to explain these contortions. One says the wind is to blame. Yet another claims that they were not tended to correctly when they were planted. And a third suggests that the trees became twisted as a result of bugs eating away at the bark, which is known as Papa Avignon.
Many feel these theories are too dull. Each year, hundreds of tourists flock to see the dancing forest. They believe that the twisted shape of the trees is the result of an extraterrestrial visit, or that maybe spirits have left a reminder of pagan times.
A Prussian legend had it that anyone who passes through this ring would become cleansed of evil.
In the early 20th century, there was a dune where the dancing forest is now. After World War I, German pilots took a liking to this place.
These boulders are the remnants of a German gliding school. It so happened that after the war, the Germans were not allowed to have engine-powered warplanes. As a result, gliding became popular throughout Germany. Ferdinand Schulz set a world record by gliding over the Curonian Spit for 8 hours, 42 minutes, 9 seconds.
The unique position and favourable winds of the Curonian Spit are still very popular with pilots.
Sand heated by the sun generated hot air currents. Winds rose upwards along dune slopes. These thermals made it possible to stay up in the air for hours. The weather's fine, wind is okay, let's fly.
The migration season ends in early November and will take off again in April. This is the only period when no flocks of birds can be seen over the Curonian Spit.
You are standing on the dune and you see many birds flying around you, surrounding you. This is the special feeling you get from the Curonian Spit.
Ornithologist Mikhail Markovets has several months to analyse the data he has collected this year. Next spring, he will return to set up his nets again and get up early in the morning. The birds are not expected to change their ways anytime soon.